Hey folks, welcome once again to the Team TaylorMade Podcast, coming to you from our tour truck equivalent of the Butler cabin at Augusta. Host Chris Trott here, tour director and club serviceman to the stars. This week's guest, like many of our crew, needs little intro. Currently 5th in the official world golf ranking, Jon Rahm, my friend, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm good, mate, I'm good. So, 5th in the official world golf rank, you've had it lower. How's that feel for you? Is that the index that is of all measurements? Is that the one you go off?
No. I mean, I always say, right, your world ranking is a consequence of good play. So, my goal is to play good, win as many tournaments as I can, and the world ranking will be a consequence of how I do, right? If you play good, you might go higher. If you play poorly, you'll probably go lower. So that's. I'm more focused on the year-to-year, tournament-to-tournament type feel. I'm not just looking at the world ranking, trying to be as high as possible all the time. Obviously, that's the goal. But like I said, it's a consequence of good play.
You moved up these world rankings so quickly. It was insane. And, it's cool when you do your research for times when I get to sit down with you like this and you see huge jump, win, jump. Was that a surprise to you in any way?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people don't know, I turned pro in summer of 2016 with my goal of maybe being in the top 10 in the world, possibly within 2 years. But at first, I'm like, let me get my tour card. Yeah. I got my tour card. Then I started playing good and got that win at Trottie, which got me in the top 40, kept playing good in big tournaments. And after finishing top 10 in Colonia in less than a year, I got into the top 10. So that was extremely quick. I never thought that was going to happen that quickly. And I quickly had to adjust because I started playing poorly because I had accomplished such a big thing so quickly. And I had to adjust, and for the end of the year, my goal was to finish within the top 5, which I was able to do and finish in the top 4 by the end of the year. So my first.
So you're resetting goals all the time, though?
Yeah, I learned quickly. I started doing goal setting in 2014, and if you accomplish too much too fast, and I know Rory's spoken upon that before, sometimes when you accomplish it, you have nothing. Your brain just doesn't have. You don't have anything to work for, right? You've already done what you set yourself up to do. So sometimes you need to set yourself new goals, and that's what happened to me that year. I got to the top 10. Immediately after that, I missed the cut at Cologne at Memorial and the U.S. Open. Played poorly in summer, and came the playoffs. I reset all those goals, and like I said, I wanted to win again, and finish the year within the top 5. And I was able to win in Dubai. And that's what got me into the top 5 in the world.
Rookies it's a big deal now. I think, you listen to what you're saying and it's unbelievable and we just pass over it. But rookies and how quickly they come out, it's insane. With Morikawa and Wolf here, if they were in this room now or listening, what would you say to help them become, well, I guess you don't want them to get better,
No.
But what would you say again?
We all want the competition to be as strong as possible. That makes us better. At least I do. It's hard to know because each person is very different to the other, right? Like, I mean, what helps me might not help them. What I always say that I learned really quickly is you need to pace yourself. You need to set out a schedule where you're going to be able to rest properly and peak at the right time, like we all try to do. But I would try to say, don't burn yourself out in tournament weeks, right? I mean, I started practicing every day, playing every day, at least 9 holes, and doing all that. And I've gotten to the point where most Mondays I'm not there. Tuesday I'm going to play 9 holes. Wednesday's Pro-Am. And Thursday I'm ready to go. It came to a point where I don't stress too much about having to chip, having to hit one more putt, having to hit one more shot. Those extra couple hours of rest you may get is better for your brain, is better for your body. It's going to make you be more rested and more fit throughout the year when it comes towards the end. And
you don't stress about hitting those extra couple of shots because your game's at the level?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing one more putt's going to do to help you swing. There's nothing one more shot's going to do to help you swing or one more putt's going to do, right? So that's the idea. I'm not telling you to not practice at all, but I'm more of a person of I go early, I get my things done, I get a couple drills in general done, and that's it. I try to be out of the course as quick as possible.
If we look at the record for 2019, 12 top 10 finishes on the PGA Tour, the win at Zurich playing with Ryan Palmer, top 5 US Open, top 10 at the Masters, defending the Spanish Open, becoming the fastest Spaniard to win 5 European Tour events. It's a solid year and you are a rock solid pick for any DraftKings lineup. Like that's standing out to me. If you're a DraftKings guy, Jon Rahm is super consistent. When you hear those things, what's your take on the year? How do you describe that season?
It was a really good year. I mean, it's a third year in a row as a pro where I'm able to win 3 tournaments. I won 9 times worldwide in 3 years, which it's more than I ever thought I was going to do. The one that stands out a lot is, fastest Spaniard to get to 5 wins.
That. Yeah, cool. I want to talk about that for sure.
It's crazy because Seve's such a reference for me, and I think he did it in 52 starts. I remember they told me I did it on 39, I believe.
Unreal.
I had a chance to do it in Wentworth at 37, but it's not that big of a difference. And it's crazy. Anytime you get to break a record of one of your idols, I mean, it's not only Seve. I mean, Olazabal wasn't able to do it. Sergio wasn't able to do it. You have players like Quiroz, Gonzalo, Miguel. None of those players was able to do it that quickly. So for me to be, number one in Spanish golf history, I'm going to be the fastest into 5. Hopefully somebody beats it at some point. It just really stands out to me, right? And with that, I would say defending the Spanish Open. It's maybe not the biggest event I play all year, but it was my first defense of a tournament. And in home soil, there's always more personal pressure. It's something that for me is very emotionally a big deal.
Does it feel, do you put it up there with majors and WGCs to go
No,
back and
it's
play
very
that?
different. Emotionally, it's just more a part of me, as a Spanish golfer and representing golf, to be able to defend my home's Open. It's special. It's really special to me. I mean, it's not the same quality as other events, but it stands out to me just because it's personally such a special thing.
Seve, I think, is so big in European golf, and when I first started on tour, got to spend a small amount of time. He was still coming back, playing every now and again, or he'd come to events. Did you spend any time with him, even in your amateur days? You never got?
The only time I got to meet him, I got to shake his hand. It was the Basque Golf Federation, which is not even Spanish. We're talking about Basque now. They used to have this. I think I was 12 or 13. They used to have this end of the ranking gala, where all the the better players from that year will go there, and you get a diploma, a little trophy, and there'll be a whole act and presentations and all that. It was fun. Yeah. And over there it was Olazabal and Seve were there. Yeah. So when we got up there, you got to shake both of their hands. You get your little trophy and go for a picture. And I almost skipped Seve. I didn't know who he was at that point. I was too young to realize. So I went to Olazabal, who gave me my diploma. I forgot what it was. And I completely skipped Seve, and he stopped me. He's like, hey, don't forget about me. And I can remember everybody being like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. And not too long after, obviously, I learned who he was. And unfortunately, a couple of years later, he passed away, and I wasn't able to talk to him or pick his brain. But I can always say I won the Madrid Amateur Championship the day he passed away. So I was able to dedicate that to him, which for all of us is really special, right? And we were all a little bummed to know that a little piece of Spanish history had died that day.
European history, I think. And do you still have the photo? You and
no, there wasn't a photo. So we shook hands,
and then that was that.
And then we went. Look, all the champions would go to post for a picture. They might be on it. I don't remember. It was so long ago. Not even. I mean, nobody in my family would have ever thought I would be here at this point. So
you did.
Sure. I always believed young enough, but I don't think at that point maybe I did, and I probably said it. I've always had a huge belief in myself, but realistically, I don't think many of us thought I'd be here at that point.
So that's a good transition, because Tyler Brett is running this whole photo shoot for us here at the Floridian, and he's doing a stellar job. Mm-hmm. He told me a story in preparation for this, that you and him stood on a tee box at Shelter Harbour a few years ago. And it was a photo shoot a few years ago, and you were fresh-faced, brand new out the gate. And you stood at the back of the tee with him, and you said, "Hey, I'm going to be in this commercial. That's what's happening now." Apparently, you were quite shocked, and I'm going to be in this commercial. How now? I see you with the crew. I remember last year when the lights were going down, you were hitting those 4-iron flop shots with UDIs, and 790s were going every. You just wanted to hit every club we had, every product. Everyone's laughing, everyone's joking with you. You are truly a part of Team TaylorMade family now. How does that feel to go from being the, am I going to be in this, realization?
It's surreal. So that first time in Indianapolis, it was unexpected, right? I mean, I had just signed with TaylorMade. I just gotten my tour card, but done nothing special. I never expected to be in any of those things. I'm like, I'm too young, my thought was maybe Sergio was doing it at that point, Rosie, Jason Day, DJ. So all the big names are going to be doing this. But I'm like, why am I here? I was like, I'm too. I just started. Nobody knows who I am. And I think the one commercial that came out of that was a TP5X commercial. But I wasn't supposed to be in any other one, or that I knew at least. I was just like, am I really going to be in a commercial with them? Like, why? Like, I'm not on the same level yet, right? Like, I don't know. It was just really, really mesmerizing. I'm like, wow, it's a really cool thing that so quickly I'm already here. Again, it's one of those things I didn't expect so early in my career. I've been a pro for 2 months.
Yeah. We were blown away back then by your reaction to the golf ball. I mean, I can tell you now why that commercial made it through. One, I think you go on quickly and win, and you become very prominent and relevant.
I won my second start with that ball.
Why that photo shoot, you literally almost seemed like an aha moment that this ball's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. What is it that you like about the ball so much? And
I've heard many times people say my reactions are fake. They're completely true. We don't see any of this, any of the new material until we come to this photo shoot. Like, today, with the drivers and the fairway woods and the wedges, we're all seeing all this for the first time. And that was my first time trying the TaylorMade ball, right? Even though it was out. And the biggest difference was I was hitting shots, and I joked, saying, if you can make me hit it longer and straighter, I'll put it in play. And they're like, we might be able to do that. And I started hitting 3 woods, and there was some right to left wind. I started hitting some shots, and the ball I was using then was moving quite a bit offline. And I grabbed the 3 wood. They gave me a TaylorMade ball, striped it, and that thing went right through it. I mean, barely moved. I was like, wow.
Just held the wind.
I'm like, this is unbelievable. It's not like I'm trying to change anything. And then when it came to the driver, it was the biggest thing. I like to hit a cut, and being in right to left wind, I was kind of starting left, maybe fading a bit, and falling left. And then I started hitting it with the 3, with the TP5X and the driver, and the ball was turning left and fading back. I'm like, this is so much better, in the sense that if I don't have to worry about the wind up until there's a significant, strength, it's unbelievable. It's you don't have to manipulate anything for that.
So that was a shock moment that you then go on and put clubs in play. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about first reactions to this product. And I'm looking for honest feedback here. And at the end of the day, we're going to be out on the tour with you working these products in. But when you come to a photo shoot, there's a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. Mm-hmm. But you must, as a competitor, as a player, be thinking, okay, I'm going to need to do this with this club, or I'm going to need to change this lie angle, or is that how the process works in your mind?
Yeah, it's hardly ever when I get a club for the first time that is fitted perfectly. Hardly ever. So it happened today with the 3, for example. We had to adjust the loft a little bit, and it was perfect. I wasn't checking the numbers. How far I was hitting it, but the ball flight was the one I wanted. And with the driver, very similar thing. I've also been, I've had quite some time off. I decided to break for about a month without a club, so my swing and my speed is not quite there yet. Yeah. So even if it's fitted for me for tournament shape, right now I can't move the club the same way, so it might be a little bit off. But the ones I was trying to hit hard and I hit good were good ball flights and feeling good. So very excited so far. Anytime we can get a little bit more extra speed or a little bit more extra, it's a good thing. And I can say I got 122 mile an hour swing speed after taking a long break. Yeah, it doesn't usually happen. So looking forward to how it's going to perform, especially the driver when I'm warmed up.
They say, the engineers tell us, that the sim should help with the speed as well. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you got to be thinking there's got to be something in that if you can get even like game speed. Yeah,
I mean, some people might be really focused on hitting it further, and we all are. Yeah. I do believe if you want to hit it further, you can maybe just spend a lot more time in the gym, and you'll be able to hit a little further. In my case, I'm trying to hit it straighter. That's the forgiveness of the club.
Because you feel you hit it far enough?
I feel like I hit it far enough, right? And I'm working out in the gym. I get stronger, and it'll go longer. So what I'm trying to do is make sure I'm hitting it straight.
And twist face to that impact for you helped?
Big time. The biggest difference for me was when I missed one off the toe. Yeah. Twist face has
made it hang in.
Not gladly, majorly helped in the sense that a lot of times when I towed and I'm a fader, the ball would start left and maybe even go left. Yeah. Right. It didn't have enough spin, and it'll be a kind of a uncontrollable knuckleball. With the twist face, that ball still has enough spin, which not only stays in the air, but sometimes it still fades. Yeah. So it's a ball that just stays in play. It's definitely, I can tell this year I hit it straighter than anybody else, and I believe almost all the, if you look at Rory, look at DJ, look at me, I think I hit quite a bit more fairways than I did last year. My swing hasn't really changed. I know, I do know that driver, that twist face is helping us hit it straighter.
Let's keep it on clubs for a minute, and I want to take an opportunity to talk about Spider X.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I travelled around the world with that club. I know I gave it to my man Adrian to take to Europe, and he had it there. We had it on hand. And the thing that I loved about this, but I hated it on the same note, but I loved it through being close to a player, is you said to me early in the year, you go, look, I didn't put that putter in play when I was putting badly. Now I'm putting well. I'm not going to put it in play. And then a few weeks went by, and I was off the truck one time, and you spoke to me about it, and I thought, okay, there's a chance. And then I left, and I came back on the truck, and Wade said to me, he goes, hey, Jon Rahm's taking that putter. He's going to put it in. And I was like, no way, because I'd been following you all year, and I was gutted. But then I loved the fact that you played it. So tell me about the process of getting into the Spider X.
Yeah. First to say is when putting, I'm not very, it's not easy for me to change putters, right? Especially if I've done well with one. I don't blame the putter. I blame myself for putting poorly. So it's hard for me to change and just blame the club. The main reason why I decided, and it's not all entirely up to Wade, one of the main reasons is because those two putters were built so similar, right? We made so many changes to it. It doesn't have the white line. The face is different. It's as close as can possibly be to my Spider Tour. It's just a little bit different shape. So,
and you loved it. You kept coming in and saying, can I see it?
It felt really good. It's just, again, it's hard for me to pull the trigger in that sense. So the reason why I did is because of my weight and how much I lean on the putter just to pick up the ball. The neck of the putter, the lie angle, it would change. So without me, vary half a degree, maybe even sometimes up to 2, and that's a big difference for the listeners that don't know. So a lot of times we go upright and I start missing everything left, and it'll be a hard time for me putting, right? And I did ask Wade, I'm like, is there anything we can do for this to not happen? He said the new putter's neck was a little bit more resistant, and I'm like, okay, let's try it out. So I brought it out. I started hitting putts with both on the putting green, and during the practice round on Tuesday and the Wednesday Pro-Am, I only hit one putt with the Spider 2. I was trying to see the other one, the other putt of the Spider X. Put it on play. I think Thursday I had my best putting round I've ever had with strokes gain. I mean, strokes gain putting was about 5. It was ridiculous. Yeah. Putted great that week, finished second or third, and he was a good week putting. Putted well throughout the playoffs, and then again good in Europe this time. And what I do remember though is I hit one putt with the Spider Tour, and I putted all week with the X. We go back we were in Medina. We go to the truck, and you check the lines. The Spider X hadn't changed. Spider Tour had changed the degree. I was like, how is this possible? Like, just by traveling, it changed. So the main reason why it changed, performance was so similar because they were both very similar. It was because the consistency of the lie angle, which was important for me, right? I mean, I can't be trying to vary my stance every week.
I think it's one thing that's overlooked by amateurs. Loft, lie, crucial when it comes to putting. I mean, you're saying it there for yourself. So you touched on earlier.
There's been many weeks where I can tell you, Memphis is a perfect example. I come from the Open, not putting well, go to the truck, get it fixed, shoot 8 under the first day. Next day, putter lies change. I can't make any putts. Yeah. And it's as simple as it's not me. Is the lie angle itself, just 1 degree is going to make the ball come out a little bit different.
And the trucks don't stay all week, so that's not something
they should.
You can tell it.
They should. I don't know why not.
7 days a week, shouldn't
I
they?
don't know why not. We at least have the lie and love machine just to have it for the putter, because it's a guessing game. But I do believe it's, so many temperature changes throughout the year, and so many times that putter's been, tangled with. I think it just the neck was a little bit weak and easy to move. With this newer putter, hasn't changed, and I've been putting good.
That's cool.
Since so.
We wrapped up season 1 with Keith Sabarbaro, which I know is a good friend of yours. He's the VP of Tour Operations for us. And you said earlier in this podcast how you don't quite know what you were doing at the first photo shoot. Well, I can tell you now, if ever you go back and listen to Keith's podcast, he talks about you like no other player he's ever seen before. And Keith doesn't throw around compliments like that lightly. and he said that he went and played golf. You'll remember it. He played golf with you somewhere, and I think Phil Mickelson was with you, and he left, and he called a friend, and he said to his friend, I have just played golf with one of the top 10 players in the world, and he hasn't even turned pro yet. That was what his words were about you. Mm-hmm. What do you remember from those early days of meeting Keith? I know it was very much behind closed doors. You weren't in any clubs. You weren't in any of our... But what turned you? What is his influence, or TaylorMade's influence as a company, or you as a tour player? What got you to be like, I need to be with this group?
Well, yeah. So I didn't play with Phil and Keith. I did a fitting with Keith, and then I have played with Phil many times. And Phil has said before, and I know he's bet on this, and I don't know with who or how much or whatever, but he did bet with players that within 2 years I was going to be in the top 10 in the world rankings.
That's unreal.
And I was still an amateur. Within the 2 years of that date of still being an amateur, he said I would be in the top 10. And Keith was, I was still in college. He was right after Pac-12, so it was in the postseasons. I had just won Pac-12, by the way, by 3 shots, coming back the last day. And on my bag, I had every brand you can imagine. I had Nike, Callaway, Titleist, Trottie Wilson, Odyssey Potter. I had so many different things, right? Because I was trying out everything to know. And TaylorMade came in late. He came in, thankfully for me, but he came in late. And I did a fitting with Keith, like I did with many others. And we did it at Greyhawk on the back of the range. And I didn't want to change the irons and the wedges and the putter right away because it's a little more sensitive. But I did take every wood I had right away and said, I'm keeping the TaylorMades. Yeah. Went to regionals the week after, won by 6. So and my driver became significantly better, a lot better. And what I loved about TaylorMade was the family sense of everything. You know, how much the players are involved in everything, how much of our feedback is then included on the future clubs, and how good of a vibe we have, you know. And then Keith, you know, I believe Keith would be a great asset to any single company that makes golf clubs. He's a great fitter. He really understands each swing, and sometimes without even having numbers, TrackMan, or anything, he just sees a shot and is like, oh, you need to change the line real quick, and he changes it and it works. He's unique in that sense. He's been doing this for so long, and you know, I like his personality. He's just a cool, calm dude, very, very Southern California person, right? So it's always a sense of security I get with him, and I really get along with him. He's somebody that's really fun to be around, and he always has a lot of good feedback, a lot of good feedback. So it's somebody I trust. I play with a lot of times, and you know, I do love he tells me things straight up. He's not gonna mess around. So it's there's many things. I mean, a lot of things why we like all of you guys. You know, it's a great sense of community that we all love.
I think I can echo that. I think for any fitters that are listening, it's just his direct approach. He comes at it as a player, and then he looks at it from a fitting perspective. Mm-hmm. I think that's what I like about it. You like to hit certain shots as a player, and sometimes they're not the best numbers on TrackMan. They change the numbers on TrackMan, but it's what you need.
And he'll tell you if you're hitting bad shots, you're making bad swings. So he'll be like, you're not hitting it like usual. Yeah. Like many times I'm having struggling with the swing, and he'll tell me, hey, you know, it looks a little different. This is what it looks like, and it'll help me hit it better, right? I mean, it's as simple as that. He knows. And the one thing he never does, he never panics no matter how bad a club might feel. You know, he never panics. He tries to find a solution, which for me, if you're doing it, especially in a tournament, it's you know, it's quite comforting.
It's the SoCal chill.
Yep.
Speed injected questions. They've made it through to our second series of the podcast. So here are your speed injected questions.
Let me get some water.
Yeah, get ready. They're a little different to the first one, so you'll be all right. Okay. Torrey Pines or Beth Page?
Torrey Pines.
Would you rather lead the tour in strokes gained off the tee or strokes gained putting?
Putting.
The one course you could play every day for the rest of your life?
Pebble Beach.
LeBron or Kawhi? Kawhi Leonard.
Can I say Kobe Bryant?
You can say whatever you want.
Come on. I mean, this is just a recent rivalry that just started last year. Yeah. So, I don't know.
I got a great rivalry for you then. Messi or Ronaldo?
Oh, they're two very different players. Who I think is better?
I guess who you think is better, and then who do you like watching more?
I mean, I think there's no discussion that Messi's better. It's just Ronaldo's work ethic is, you know, it's something to admire.
Yeah. Number of career hole-in-ones?
2.
What would you shoot lefty?
I don't think I'll finish. I'll definitely quit midway. Not a chance.
Favorite TV or Netflix show right now?
Right now, probably The Good Doctor.
Okay. It's got in here window or aisle seat. Hopefully neither, right? If you're playing well.
They're all window in that case, and aisle
Yeah.
at the same time. But it all depends. Am I emergency exit or not?
I guess you could pre-select that. Pay a few more quid if you want it.
If I am emergency exit, I'll get window. If not, I like the aisle so I can stretch my legs.
Okay. Mallet or blade putter?
Mallet.
Beach or the mountains?
Mountains.
And then the one shot in your career you wish you could have a mulligan on.
If I had to choose by choice of just that was a good, it was a well struck shot. It's not like I regret it. It would be the second shot in 11 at Players this year.
Okay.
I don't regret the choice. I regret rushing it towards the end.
And that just set the scene for us. I think I remember it, but it's probably better coming from you. Just set the scene.
Yeah, so I was, I think I was one back. Or no, tied for the lead at that point. I think I was tied for the lead on 11. Yeah, I'm on the left bunker. It's a lot of downwind, and I'm trying to, draw an 8-iron about 20 yards.
There was a lot of back and forth between you and Adam.
Yeah. Adam is never really opposed to shot, and I usually ask him. Actually, don't ask him. I tell him what my mind is at, and I'm like, hey, what do you think? And in my mind, I was thinking, okay, you like a 7 or an 8-iron, and he tells me to lay up, and that kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I like going for it because there's 60 yards left of the pin to hit it at, and if you lay up, the shot is from a downhill lie, downwind to a pin that's stuck to the right. And I just grabbed the 8-iron and kind of rushed it a little bit, just thinking, hit and hope.
So what do you wish you'd have done? Hit the same club or hit a different shot?
No, I wish I would have taken maybe 10 extra seconds to focus and really hit the shot.
Same club?
Yeah, I could. No, I chunked it.
Okay.
And even hitting it bad, I was a couple feet from being on the greenside bunker, which is doable, right? I mean, there was such a big margin of error to miss. I rushed it, and I didn't really focus on one shot and a target to hit it to. I just kind of aim right and try to hook it. And I just go back and Faldo always said under pressure, just make everything slower. That's kind of what I wish I would have done.
It's interesting you quote Faldo on that one. I mean, the caddy there then said his mind. Are you happy with that? I would be.
Always. And I always know whether it's good or bad, or Adam's gonna give me his advice.
Yeah.
And it's always up to me. I'm the one who makes the last decision, right? I'll never blame Adam for anything. I blame myself at that point for not giving myself 10 more seconds. As simple as that. It's not. I always say for anything, he's always gonna give me. He's not gonna try to hurt me. Obviously, he's trying to help me, and I was mad at myself at that point because I knew I rushed it. If I take my time and miss the shot, I missed the shot, but I didn't, and that was I didn't follow the process, and that was the part that really pissed me off.
It's funny because it's one of the things I feel about you. You're always very fair. You're very honest and you're very fair in everything, be it club feedback, be it in the personality that you bring to the truck, and you hang out with us a lot on here. You play a lot of the computer games we have on here, and we like it. We like having you around. We like you being in the team. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Hopefully the listeners enjoy this one as much as I have.
Hopefully.
Guys, if you want to follow Jon on Instagram, it's at Jon Rahm. You can catch TaylorMade at TaylorMade Golf, and myself at TrottieGolf, where I post a lot about the tour. This podcast can be found in all of the usual places. You know where to go by now, and on the website, taylormadegolf.com/podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Give us your feedback. Let us know if there's any questions you want to ask these guys next time we get them on. But until next time, thanks for listening.